welcome to Classical Stuff You Should Know, a podcast about classical literature, the ancient world, philosophy, old books, education, and all things therein. I can tell by the intro that you boys aren't cool with it. In fact, I would consider you both to be grouchy.
Oh, we got there. Good.
But my name is Graeme Donaldson, and I'm with AJ Hannenberg.
I feel like I'm with the audience and that I don't understand the reference.
That's good.
Are we talking about Groucho Marx or something?
Yes, we're going to do an entire episode on Groucho Marx.
And Thomas Magby.
Hello.
And we are going to learn about Groucho Marx.
We're not learning about Groucho Marx. I feel like, I shouldn't make the joke in case people actually want that.
Yeah.
Instead, no, we're going to be talking about a play called Dyskolos. And I was going to make the joke that Dyskolos stood for
my favorite DJ,
the Graeme. But oh wow, okay. But you were talking before this, Graeme. You're feeling a little grouchy right now.
I'm feeling a little grouchy.
You want to tell us why you're feeling a little grouchy right now?
It's Lent,
Yeah.
and I gave up coffee, and I feel like someone has taken my eyeballs and are just like squeezing them behind my head.
And there also might be some atmospheric pressure because I'm getting a little bit of that.
Okay, we've had some weird weather. It's been super hot and super cold. We have some storm fronts coming.
Like
in.
yesterday, I had some pressure, and today I have some pressure, and I know there's thunderstorms later tonight.
It's just it's Austin Spring is where it's just like electrical storms and pollen's in the air and Lent is in full swing and.
I always wonder. Okay, so do you think we start noticing that we get headaches when the weather changes? Is that because we're getting old that happens, or is it just because like we had that happens when we're young too? We're just too like I love everything, and we're just not thinking about it, and you start to notice patterns in your health when you're older. Is that the deal?
What do you think? Like, have you noticed as you're getting older, you feel allergies more, or you feel change in the season more?
No, like I guess I wouldn't have even thought about my weird headache today until Graham brought it up, and then I was like, oh yeah, I have that eye squeeze thing too.
It's the vaccine.
Stop. Stop. That's wrong.
I think it's living in Austin. Apparently, after some time in Austin, you will become allergic if you're not already allergic.
That is definitely true.
Seems right.
Austin is pretty...
It'll get you.
It's pretty nasty for pollen.
That's rough.
Yep.
And cedar and mold and like every allergen is here.
In fact, it makes one grouchy.
Okay, good. Thanks, segue.
Full circle.
Appreciate it.
So I guess we're all grouchy. AJ and I are grouchy at your introduction. You're grouchy because of no caffeine. So, and the weather.
And the weather.
It's a tough time. Yeah, we'll be
getting old too.
You are getting old also. You want to talk about that? We are talking about an old man. This is an old man.
Electricity prices are high.
Yeah, I can see him saying that.
Can't believe eggs are $7.
So expensive. That's right. I had to buy eggs this morning. $7.
Did you really pay $7 for eggs? Where are you guys buying eggs? I feel like at HEB aren't they like $3?
These were the like cage-free ones though. So we got
like straight from the chicken. Like squeeze the chicken in front of you,
and that's how you get.
No
eggs
wonder
out of the chicken. You obviously squeeze them. That's right.
You want encaged eggs?
Huh?
You buy encaged eggs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like.
No
rain eggs.
Well, the eggs are in the chicken either way. Like the eggs don't know that they're in a cage.
Apparently
they're in a chicken.
No,
and
they totally know.
No, I actually do buy like free range eggs. I like the brown ones. I don't think there's any difference between the brown and the white, but like it makes me feel.
I feel like a listener will tell us the difference between someone listens and raises chickens, and they will tell us the very specific difference.
Well, here's the thing: I've watched chickens before, and like day to day, some are brown, some are white. At least that's what it is. Yeah, blue? And some are like blue,
scary.
And so. I really don't think it matters, but I like the brown ones. I don't know why. It feels like whole wheat. You know what I mean? It just feels a little bit healthier.
Even though it's not, right? Okay.
That's how they sound.
That's cool. Yep, this bodes well for this episode. So we will be talking about the grouch, which either I can't tell if we are or aren't. We also recorded last weekend, so I feel like there's got to be the loopiness of doing this 2 weekends in a row, right?
Probably.
So doing our best.
Yeah.
And I want to be outside biking.
It took some convincing to get me
a
here.
little bit.
Not on me, on the others, on Mrs. Donaldson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
she had to convince you to get here?
She's like, get out of the house, yeah. No, AJ and I were walking in together, and we're like, this is a beautiful day. Would love to be outside. Let's go record some podcasts. Yeah. So here we are. All right, so Dyskolos is a play. Dyskolos means the grouch. It is a play written by Menander, and Menander is a Greek playwright. So we have read some Greek plays before, and so I guess this is our quiz show. Gentlemen, do you all remember reading plays by a Mr. Aristophanes?
They're some of our best episodes.
They are a delightful time. Do you remember some of those titles?
The birds, the frogs,
birds,
the clouds.
Clouds was one. That's right. And
was the birds one?
Birds was one also. Birds, clouds, frogs. And I think that's all that we've read.
Oh, let's go.
Does anyone know any of his other plays? There's one major one that we have not read on this podcast.
It's not the one about Socrates because that's the clouds,
That's
right?
the clouds, yeah.
No, I don't know.
Lysistrata. That's a famous
I've read
one.
Lysistrata.
Yeah, one that we could probably never perform on.
It's very sexy.
Yeah, it is very much so. And
I
so,
always confuse
it's anti-sexy.
yeah, but they talk about it a lot.
They do
right?
talk about
that
it
is
a lot.
the problem. It's
Yeah.
a play about there's a war going on, and the
women have had enough.
The women have had enough, and to try to get the men to stop going to war, they will no longer be with their men until they stop the war.
They're on strike.
There was a
go on
movie
strike.
they made after Lysistrata recently, like Chicago,
Yeah, by,
something like that.
Is it Spike Lee who made that?
I can't remember.
But I want to say it's a musical, right? Isn't there a music element to it also?
I remember it being weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not seen it, but okay. So the Aristophanes, we've read some of those plays before, so we're back into Greek comedies. Just kind of, if you were to summarize what the plays that we've read before, again, Greek comedies by Aristophanes, what are some kind of like common elements to them? And I know it's been a long time, and I'm happy to feed you some as we go, but is there anything you remember about them?
Going to the underworld.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one where like they get turned into stuff,
Yeah.
right? So the guys get turned into birds. Or they disguise themselves as birds. Is that
They
right?
start out that way, and then
They turn into
they
birds?
become birds. They start out they want to become birds. They eventually get what they want, but it starts out kind of silly, but then turns into like, how do we build a utopia, and like how do we conquer the gods, right?
Cuckoo
Like
Land.
yeah,
and then it
build-
works. Didn't they actually get it done? They
build-
caught all the prayers.
They caught all the prayers. The gods get mad. They negotiate a settlement, and then the birds become like king of the world, basically. And they start a rampage against people who like eat chicken or whatever. So it's rough. The Clouds is making fun of Socrates. It's making fun of the idea of philosophy. And then for the Frogs, they're going to the underworld because they need to get these playwrights of old. They need to get these ancient Greek heroes to come and like save the city, basically. And so what is consistent across all of these is you get these like big important ideas that are being worked out through theater, through comedy. So again, it's like The Clouds is a satire of Socrates, and it's entertaining on its face, but also is credited with leading to Socrates' death, right? Like credited with showing the uselessness of his work and kind of undermining his credibility.
And Socrates, even in his trial, says like, "You only know me because you know the like meme version of me that you all saw in that play.
That's right.
And you're putting that guy on trial. That's not
right.
fair."
That's right. And same with the birds, kind of like what is man's relation to the gods, and what kind of society do we want to build? Like big, heady ideas in the context of a play that's entertaining and fun to read, but you're dealing with large philosophical ideas as a part of that. So I start with Aristophanes because we're kind of working through a progression of ages in Greek comedy. So Aristophanes will fall under this phase of comedy called Old Comedy, and you will find these names very creative. It goes old to middle to new. Do you like that? This is very
Shocking.
very creative.
Yeah.
But Old Comedy is going to have these attributes to it, where again, important big ideas, a lot of really dirty jokes, and
Isn't that kind of just
We
an
got lots
element
of dirty
of
jokes.
comedy in general, or is
we're
it?
going to get to that today.
Okay.
Because with Aristophanes, there was one that I was going to say we cut all of that from the plays that we read. There was actually a part that I miscut, and we had to like edit the episode to take out the part.
Don't tell them.
They can tell because there's like a musical interlude in the middle. But
I forgot about that.
Sorry about that.
I remember was that one like hard? It might have been hard.
It was
to
hard
edit
to
or
edit.
something.
It was, yeah. I think it was Graeme reading it, and like as he's reading, he goes, "What is this?" But Old Comedy has this. There's this raunchiness to it. There are these big important ideas. It's like satire, social commentary. So it's doing a lot under the guise of comedy. But comedy is going to develop over time. It's going to move into. We talk about this middle stage. Aristophanes will sometimes, he wrote many plays, so some of those will be grouped under middle. But I guess this is probably the place also to say we don't have a lot of Greek plays left anymore. This is probably an obvious thing to say. I believe we only have about 13 Greek comedies left, and 11 of those are Aristophanes. And we've read 3 of those here on the podcast, and there are at least 2 that are either we have it would be wrong to say we have all of Dyskolos. There's some where we're missing lines, but we have essentially all of Dyskolos. And then Menander has a second play as well. So we have 11 examples from Aristophanes under Old Comedy. We have 2 examples of Menander under New Comedy. And so what we'll do, we're going to read through this play. We're going to try and see if there are some differences between what we saw with Aristophanes and then what we get with Menander.
So we don't have any middle comedy?
We don't.
They're all lost.
Just in that we have, like sometimes, these lines are not perfectly drawn. There's not like a hard delineation. Sure. Some Aristophanes could be grouped here, but largely middle comedy we have references to, but not the plays of to be able to go back and read. So, all right. So Menander, he comes after Aristophanes, as you might imagine, because he, if New Comedy comes after Old Comedy, Menander is in the same way that we are missing many plays and we don't have full records. We have evidence that he won certain festivals, certain comedic festivals, certain playwriting festivals. We don't have the record for the city Dionysia competitions, which again, that's like your main competition of like how, that's like your big best playwright award is going to be the City Dionysia Award. We don't have that for Menander. What we do know is that he's spoken of highly at his time, and then even like shortly after his death, he's praised. He's viewed as a great playwright, a great and successful playwright. But by I think it's early Middle Ages, his plays are lost. So it's pretty early on that we have lost his plays. And then in the 1950s, we find a copy of Dyskolos, of the play we're going to read today. I was going to ask AJ if you knew about this. They're the Dishna papers. Does this mean anything to you?
Of course.
Could you please start this, or the Bodmer papyri? These are 2 names for them.
Yeah, the Bodmers?
Yeah.
I know
Big
the
fan of these.
Yeah.
So they're discovered in Egypt. They're discovered in Dishna in Egypt in 1952. So there's a play by Menander, this one that we're going to read right now, and it's largely intact. There are a few lines missing, but it's like recovered, which is awesome. The reason I ask you, AJ, if you had heard of it, is that I believe there are portions of the Odyssey that are included. And there are, I'm sure there's got to be scripture in there too, but there are many different papers that are recovered as a part of that. We're only talking about one of them, but it's just crazy to me that this is essentially lost until 70 years ago. Right?
Well, that's good to hear, because I take a lot of photocopies and I just put them into jars in random places
and then
around Texas.
Hopefully,
just in hopes that one day
people will recover it.
Yeah, just like a photocopy of just like an article I read.
Did you use archival paper in it?
I did not.
Because if you didn't, I mean,
you're hosed, right?
You're sunk, buddy.
You're out.
I tried putting the papyrus in the machine and it didn't work.
And how did that go? All right, so I've said that we have like mostly recovered this work. There are still some missing pieces. So Graeme, I sent you the opening of this play, and in just a second I'll send you all both the full text. But can you start reading and just give us a sense for kind of what it looks like for this reconstructed text?
Okay. So Pan.
This is the opening monologue. This is how the play begins.
So am I Pan?
You are Pan as of right now. Yeah.
You must imagine where in Attica. Philes the place, the shrine from which I come belongs to Philes' people, and the men who farm these rocky heights as best they can, wholly exceedingly known. Farm on right, Namon's utter cross gained all. The crowd he the eye? Getting yet in life, spoken to, greeted except Pan. Neighbor, he went by, then promptly that spoke, sure that.
That's all.
Yet his wed widow first had died, then. Fought her only day, most night of life. Had daughter her.
Oh my gosh, stop.
Got when troubles beyond, best Thomas.
This is what I get. Thank you. Thank you for reading the email signature at the end there. I'm just joking. This is me feeding to ChatGPT the opening prologue and asking it to increasingly remove words as it gets further on.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. It's not actually what it looks like.
It doesn't make any sense. I thought they really lost.
No. I was just messing with Graeme.
Oh, okay.
Thomas, you card.
I did it. I got him.
Such a wild card.
Okay, so most of our time will be. One other thing on Menander. He's quoted in the Bible. How's that for a thing? So, in 1 Corinthians, where Paul is giving off some quotes, let me read this section. This is 1 Corinthians 15, starting in verse 29. Otherwise, what do people mean by being baptized on behalf of the dead? If the dead are not raised at all, why are people baptized on their behalf? Why are we in danger every hour? I protest, brothers, by my pride in you, which I have in Christ Jesus our Lord. I die every day. What do I gain if, humanly speaking, I fought with beasts at Ephesus? If the dead are not raised, quote, let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die. Next, verse 33. Do not be deceived, quote, bad company ruins good morals. That quote is Menander. So that's recovered from, I'm not going to butcher it. It's, the play is spelled Thais. How would you pronounce that?
Tace?
Tace.
Teus?
Thais. So he's quoted in 1 Corinthians, which is pretty cool.
That scholarly work.
Well, we are all PhDs who have studied this stuff for a very long time. So that's another interesting thing about Menander. So just to a sign of his popularity, even he's getting quoted in this letter. So that, what was the line? Bad company ruins good morals. Is if you ever look up Menander, like you'll get like the quotable Menander essentially. It's like all these kind of homey, like
little pithy sayings.
Yeah. That he gets in his works. So okay, I think that's enough for setup. We'll read sections of the play, and then we will talk about it, and we'll just see how far we get. So, what is this play about? This play is about a grouchy man who falls down a well. And
so watch out, Donaldson, if you're already in a pretty bad place.
Well, I'm trying to think of who should Graeme should be the grouchy one, right?
Clearly.
Okay, just making sure. And
this is one of my grouchy.
That's right there. That's right there. I just heard it right there. I was also going to ask. So I want to hear the quip.
No, there's no quip.
AJ, you've commented before on parties that are hosted by Dionysus, right? Often end pretty poorly.
It always gets weird.
A party hosted by Pan. How would that go?
Equally weird.
Okay,
it might. The thing is with Pan, it probably starts weird.
Starts weird. Okay, and only goes from there. So that's actually where this play starts. So this is during
there's a man in a well, and there's a Pan party going on.
There's a festival going on. There's going to be there's going to be a whole-on feast. That's like a subplot to the story we're not going to read. But there's a feast being prepared, festival, sacrifices, and it actually opens with the god Pan showing up. He enters from his shrine to come and address the audience.
That's nice of him.
It is very kind. I sent you all both the PDF, right? Y'all both have that. So when I reference page numbers, this is really interesting for the audience. Sorry about this. I'm going to be referencing the page numbers that are in the play itself.
Not the PDF?
Not the PDF.
Okay. Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So when I say, thankfully they line up.
So page 4 is...
Page 4 is actually page 4 for this first one.
Gotcha.
But
page 5 is not.
Correct. So page 4, we're just going to start from the beginning. This is the prologue. It's going to set up basically the entire plot for this story. And it is delivered by Pan. And AJ, I feel like you're the Pan of the three of us, right? Yeah, this is not even a question. So, Pan, can you go from your first line to we will stop before Act 1?
So I'm addressing the audience, right?
Yes. Let me say the god Pan enters from his shrine and addresses the audience.
You must imagine we're in Attica. Phile's the place. The shrine from which I come belongs to Phile's people and the men who farm these rocky heights as best they can. A holy place, exceedingly well known. This farm here on the right is Nemon's home. An utter misanthrope, cross-gained to all, he hates the crowd. He hates the crowd, I say? He's getting on, yet never in his life has he spoken willingly to anyone or greeted anyone except me, a Pan, his neighbor, as he must when passing by, and then he's promptly sorry that he spoke, I'm sure of that. And yet despite his ways, he wed a widow whose first husband had just died, leaving a son, a baby then. He fought with her not only in the day, but most of every night, a wretched life. He had a daughter by her. Things got worse. But when her troubles were beyond repair, her life laborious and harsh, the wife went back to the son she'd borne before. He had a little plot not far from here, where now in hardship he supports himself, his mother, and one loyal family slave. The boy by now becomes a lad with sense beyond his years. Experience brings men on. The old man with his daughter lives alone, and has but one old servant. So he digs and carries wood. It's work, work, work for him, hating his neighbors most, and his wife, and then the whole world to cull Argos far below. The girl, brought up in total innocence, remains unchanged. She cultivates the nymphs who live with me with careful reverence, so she's persuaded us to have some care for her. I've made a youth, a city boy, whose father's rich and farms a great estate not far from here, go hunting with a friend and happen to come near her home. I've made him fall head over heels in love with her. These are the main points. And the rest you'll see if you are willing, and willing you must be. But look, I think I see this lover now. Draw near, together with his huntsman friend. They're deep in talk about the whole affair.
So we have literally set up the entire plot here. So what is Pan talking about? What's happening?
There's a dude, he marries a widow, but he doesn't like her. Or it's not great. She has a kid.
She also, her life is pretty rough too, right? Yeah. And as soon as the hardship is too much, she leaves and goes to live with her son instead of
son,
yeah.
and leaving him with a daughter.
Yes,
and she's apparently great.
Yes,
and he's work all day long.
Yes, and so he is. You said it's Naaman, right? I've heard people say both either Naaman or Knaemon. I much prefer to say Naaman for
Let's
this.
do Naaman. I'm down for it.
So it's Knemon. Naaman is the grouch. He is the difficult man. He is the misanthrope for this. We will meet him later, but yes, he's
yeah. So she is like nice to Pan's nymphs, which Pan appreciates, and so he's like, I got some rich kid to go hunting near her house, and I'm hoping to like hook him up.
Yes, exactly right, and then that will set us up. So we're going to meet that. What does he call him? A youth, a city boy whose father's rich and farms a great estate. We are about to meet him now. So I need a young man who is in love. And I need his like toady kind of sycophantic friend, who wants to be who? Who's the Graeme is the rich young ruler? Yeah, let's do that.
My heart is swelling with love.
Good.
Yeah.
Great.
So what's my name?
Sostratos.
I'm Sostratos.
And then his kind of toady sycophantic friend, Kyrios?
Kyrios is probably what I would say.
Let's do that. So we're going to move straight into Act 1. I'll be watching for when to cut you all off, but we'll go. So Sostratos is Graeme, again, young and in love. Kyrios is his friend, will be AJ. And AJ, you're going to start it off. So let me read the direction. Enter Sostratos and Kyrios from the right, deep in conversation.
What's that you say? You saw a freeborn girl give garlands to the nymphs here, and you went away in love? At once?
At once.
That's quick. Have you decided as you left your home to fall in love with someone?
Kyrios, you're laughing at me. I'm in a bad way.
I believe in you.
That is why I've come with you to help me, since I think you are my friend and very competent.
Well, Sostratos, in cases of this sort, this is my policy.
We can stop here. So they're going to go back and forth of like, how do they go about kind of wooing this girl? Kyrios will kind of propose his way of like, he offers Sostratos to go to the girl and try and win her for Sostratos, but Sostratos says, no, I've already taken care of this. I have sent one of my servants to go and speak with the father of this young girl. And Kyrios knows that this is a bad idea, knows that this is going to go poorly. Sostratos is clueless. He does not know any better. So we will move to the part where Kyrios is proven right, and we meet the servant of Sostratos, so it's Pyrrhus, who Sostratos had sent off to Naaman to ask for his daughter's hand in marriage on behalf of Sostratos, basically. So
Pyrrhus is the servant?
Pyrrhus is the servant.
Okay.
Sostratos' servant, yes. So I think we will have 3 parts at this point. So I don't really want to read this much, but
You're my servant.
deal. This will be good. So I'll be Pyrrhus, Graeme, you stay Sostratos, and then AJ, if you'll stay Kyrios. And I think AJ, your part might be about to end, so we might rope you into another one.
Are we on line 81?
We are on line 81. So
Perfect.
enter Pyrrhus from the left, running and breathless. So again, he's just gone to talk to Naaman. He's coming back to Sostratos with the news of how that went. Let me through! Look out! All of you out of the way! A raving loony's after me!
What, boy?
Run!
What's up?
He's pelting me with clods and stones! I'm done for!
Pelting you? Where are you going, fool?
Perhaps he's not still chasing me.
He's not.
I thought he was.
Well, what do you mean?
I beg you, let's get out.
Where to?
As far may be from that door, some child of woe, or else a man possessed or melancholy mad lives in the house here. The man you sent me to. What agony! I've stubbed and broken nearly all my toes.
Good God. What's he been up to on his way? Some drunken trick?
He's clearly off his head.
No, Sostratos, by God, may I be damned and blasted if I am. Be on your guard. But I can't speak. My breath is choking me.
He pauses for breath.
Let me pause here. So Naaman has reacted poorly to this offer from Piraeus, to say the least. And Piraeus has said this. Naaman's response is to run after him and throw like rocks and dirt at him, right? So this old man, I probably have not emphasized this enough. This old man works with his hands. Pan said this in the opening, right? He's a tough guy, right? And the servant has gone up to him to ask for his daughter, and Naaman is like loses it over this and chases him for miles, throwing rocks and stones after him the entire way. So we are off to a bad start right now. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I think we're going to keep going with this because I think we'll meet Naaman in a second. So,
yep.
Let me think. Great. So, he pauses for breath. Piraeus will continue here. I knocked at that door there and said that I was looking for the master of the house. A miserable old woman answered me. From where I'm standing now, she pointed out the fellow on the hill there, wandering round unhappily and collecting pears, a load of trouble for himself.
How cross he is. What next, my friend?
I set foot on his plot and walked toward him, and from some way off, I wished to seem a friendly, tactful sort of man. I said, Father, I've come to see you on a matter that's for your own good. Immediately he says, You're on my land, you villain. What's your game? Takes up a clod and hurls it at my face.
To hell with him.
I shut my eyes and said, God blast you. Then he took a stick this time and beat me up, saying, What business have you and I together? Don't you know the public road? Shouting with all his might.
The farmer's quite mad from what you say.
But hear the rest. I fled. He chased me for about 2 miles, first round the hill, then down below into this thicket, pelting me with clods and stones and pears when he had nothing else, a wild and savage beast, a barbarous old sod. Please, please get out.
No, that's the coward's way.
But you don't know how dangerous things are. He'll eat us all.
Perhaps he is a bit upset just now, and so I think we should put off approaching him for Sostratos. You know, in everything, success depends on finding the right time.
That's sensible.
Poor farmers are sharp-tempered folk. He's not the only one. They're nearly all like this. At dawn tomorrow, I'll go to him alone. I know the house. Now you go home and wait. That will be best.
Let's do just as he says.
He's gladly taken an excuse to go.
Sorry, so Piraeus has left.
Yes.
Piraeus says, he's gladly taken an excuse to go. It's clear he didn't want to come with me at all and didn't like my marriage plans.
So Strato says to Piraeus,
But you, may all the gods annihilate you utterly, as you deserve, you rogue.
But Sostratos, please, what have I done wrong?
You did some damage to his land. That's clear. You stole something.
I stole?
Did someone beat you up when you were doing nothing? Did someone beat you up when you were doing nothing wrong?
Enter Neimon from afar left.
Yes, here he is himself. I'm off, my friend, and you can talk to him.
Exit Piraeus right.
I can't. In talk, I never can convince a soul.
Looking at Neimon approaching.
What should one say about this man? He does not seem to have a very friendly look. God, no. And what a rush he's in. I think I'll get back from the door. That's better. And what's more, he's shouting, though he walks alone. He seems to me to be unwell. Whew, but I am afraid of him. By God, I am, and that's the truth.
And then enter Naaman from the left, talking to himself. So, do you want to be grouchy Naaman? Old, grouchy, salt of the earth, Naaman.
I can do my best.
I believe in you.
Now Perseus, wasn't he a lucky man in 2 respects? He could take wings on high and never meet the men who walked on earth, and then he had his gift, which he turned all people who annoyed him into stone. I wish I had that gift. Then there would be no shortage of stone statues everywhere. But now life's not worth living. No, it's not. Men trespass on my land and chat to me.
Ironically.
I usually waste my time, of course, beside the very road. Why? I don't even work that part of my estate. I've left that bit to avoid the passers-by. But now they chase me into the hills above. What swarming crowds. But help. Here's someone else standing beside my door.
Sostratus says aside.
Does he intend to beat me up?
You can't find solitude, not anywhere. Not even if you want to hang yourself.
Sostratus coming forward.
Is it me you're angry with? I'm waiting here for someone's father as I had arranged.
Just what I said. Do you take this for a park? Or a public meeting place?
With heavy irony.
Well, if you want to see someone, arrange to meet him here beside my door. Go on, by all means. Yes, erect a bench, if that is what you want. Or better still, a council room.
As he enters his house.
Oh, dear. Malicious interference is the cause of all this trouble, so it seems to me.
Naaman exits into his house. Sostratos is left alone on the stage.
This business requires, it seems to me, no common effort. Something more serious, that's obvious.
He reflects.
Getus, my father's slave, suppose I go to him. By heaven I shall. Yes, he's a ball of fire, experienced in every kind of thing. He'll drive away all that old man's bad temper, I'm quite sure. For I refuse to tolerate delay. Why, lots of things may happen in one day, but someone's rattled on his door.
And then Sostratos withdraws, so we'll stop there. All right, so we get to meet the Grump, the Grouch himself. What do you think? He comes out and he's talking about how lucky Perseus is. Maybe not for the normal reason someone would. Was there anything interesting in there? Anything in Naaman first showing up on stage?
I love that he doesn't even stop to listen to anyone that's talking to him. He just doesn't like that they're around at all.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And they're coming on his land.
That's exactly right.
Build a bench, get a council room. If you
He doesn't
want
even work the part of his land that's close to the road in case he accidentally sees something.
Doesn't want to see anyone.
I feel it, man. I get it. I get it.
Should I have you reading this part? The more I think about it.
Although today my voice is really gristly,
You're doing
so
good. You're
so
doing
I
great.
feel like
It was a great job.
I got my grouch voice on today.
Yeah. Again, the thing on Perseus is funny, right? It's like Perseus has the ability. He has this Medusa head, right, that he can like turn people into stone. And Naaman's like, I wish I could do that, and I would put statues everywhere. People talk to me, I turn them into a statue. I never have to hear them again. And whenever he's bored with them, he has his like flying shoes, right? He can just like get away from them immediately. So, a really charming, happy fellow. So this is our Naaman, and again, he has this wonderful daughter who Sostratos wants to marry, but Naaman is hearing none of it. All right, we are on page 10. I think I had a little bit more here before we're going to jump. We're going to skip over a lot of stuff in the middle. So we'll keep Sostratos as Graeme, and I think we just have a little bit between Sostratos and the girl, the one who he is in love with.
Okay.
So that will be AJ, and then Graeme, you will be Sostratos. Let's take it from, it's actually the next line is at 188. So from the girl saying, alas, and then we'll read to the next page, so not very much. So just to give the stage direction, the girl comes out of Naaman's door carrying a water pot.
Alas, more trouble still. Oh, what should I do now? My nurse has dropped the bucket in the well.
Sostratos says aside,
Oh, Father Zeus, Phoebus, and heavenly twins. What beauty irresistible.
That's not the first time I've heard that. And Dad told me to get the water hot as he went out to work.
Sostratos to the spectators.
Friends, what am I to do?
But if he learns this, he'll beat her up and kill her for her crime. It's not the time for idle talk. Oh, dearest nymphs, I must take the water now from you. I am ashamed if anyone is making offerings inside to bother you.
Sostratos comes forward.
If you give the pot to me, I'll fill it from the spring at once and bring it back to you.
Oh, thank you. Please be quick.
Sostratos says aside as he goes into the shrine.
A country girl she is, but how unlike a bumpkin. Gods above, what power can save me now?
A door rattles.
But help! Who made that noise? Is Father coming back? Then I shall get a hiding if he catches me outside.
The girl retires to Naaman's door, but it is the door of Gorgeous' house that opens instead. And we'll stop there. Okay, so this is the actual first time you see them interacting with each other, but you know, what's your feeling about this right now? Like, are we in like high literature territories with this play?
He thinks she's hot.
Yes, I mean that's what it boils down to.
It's not like, oh, I love your personality and I could talk to you for a long time. It's like she's a dime.
Yeah, we don't have this like rival factions thing. Like, there's nothing like. It's just a love story, right? It's just a generic boy meets girl. And
How unlike a bumpkin.
that's the nicest thing you can say about her.
I mean, if I know one way to woo a girl, it's fill up a water bucket.
And that water bucket ends up being pretty important. So that's where we get to later.
Okay.
But the extent of their relationship is like Sostratos offering to help her with fill up a pot of water, right? Like that's how much they've talked to each other or how much they know each other. Weren't you were the one talking about the Frozen plot of like the guy and girl meeting each other and falling immediately in love, and it going poorly is like that's how every one of these should go, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but
sometimes it works out,
sometimes it works out.
Sometimes hot people are great.
Cool. There's your quote for the episode. Cool. All right. So
There's a T-shirt.
there's your T-shirt.
Merch.
Cool.
Sometimes hot people are great.
Yeah. That's like the Helios' Acolytes of Love coming out of my Montaloo episode. Do you even remember that? I did this episode in this like tiny French town.
Oh, I totally remember it.
Do you do? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where we created a cult all together.
Yeah, I remember you said, okay, I need you guys, like, if you're going to create a cult, do it. And I was like, I've been waiting for this moment my
All
entire
my
life.
life, yeah.
I'm on
You
this.
are completely
Yoga retreat,
prepared
I got
for
it all
that.
planned.
So good. I do remember. You did talk about that.
Yeah. Speaking of, like, I've been mocking up some merch stuff.
Really?
So, yeah, a little bit. I mean,
For Helios Acolytes of Love or like for everyone?
we can sell to everybody. So I've been trying to get. So I have an image of a meerkat looking up at the moon.
Oh, jeez.
For a nightmare.
Nightmare? That's
Yep,
good. I like that.
That'd be good.
That's good. I need to go back and see what episode. Do you remember what episode that was?
Not any idea.
I'm sure someone has replied to it with that, but I need to go find that part.
Back when
So
AJ
now we'll
was-
get a mug that says sometimes hot people are great.
sometimes hot people.
That's a good one. Did the competition last night where someone spliced together clips of our podcast, did Nightmare show up?
I don't think it did, sadly.
That's tough.
Yeah, I don't know which episode it was.
Back when AJ was looking for an apartment, we found a really cheap place that was part of a transcendentalist meditation community. Remember that?
Yeah.
You could. It was a really.
The rent was cheap?
The rent was super cheap, but you also like kind of had to partake in their yurt stuff
Yeah, you had to like go to morning yoga.
every now and then.
That's not so
But it was
You know
like,
what? I didn't really hate
for
that
your
idea.
back, right? Like that would probably be pretty good for you.
Anyway,
I could use some
but it didn't
stretching.
happen. It was apparently the transcendentalists chose this spot because of the crystals in the hills.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. Yeah.
That's cool.
You know the Austin Wizard School? Like
I do know the Austin
when you go to the
Wizard School.
website, the first thing it says is not a cult. Like it's not. We're not a cult.
But if you had to say
And
that,
every video I've ever seen has been like, listen, we're not a cult.
so
like
normal.
every single one. It's so funny.
it's really funny. Is there a reason for the name? If it
I
Well,
think-
first of all, they're not a cult, mate.
I was gonna
you
start
have to
there,
understand
yeah.
first that they're not a cult. I think it was just the founder was an eclectic guy,
Yep.
and it's apparently a pretty dang good business school. It's just definitely not a cult, but it's one of those things. It's like methinks she doth protest
Yes.
too much.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like
That's
if
right.
you keep on having to insist you're not a cult, like you might be a little
problem.
culty.
It's
Might be a
tough.
little culty.
All right. Anything else from this? We've mostly done the first act, and we'll skip acts 2 through 4. Essentially, we'll do a little bit of 4 maybe, but yeah. Anything else that sticks out? Just comparing it either to other plays that we've read. Again, for Aristophanes. Anything else that sticks out?
It feels similar to like the humor and the curt little phrases.
Yeah.
That we don't have these long flowing prose. Although every now and then you'll have this big monologue.
Yeah.
But it's usually these quick little back and forth.
That part is very similar. It's a lot cleaner than the other stuff that we've
So far?
Yeah. So,
Yep.
and even I'm trying to think of what is cut out. There's some language stuff that we'll skip over in this middle section, but by and large, it's not nearly as difficult to edit around as some of those Aristophanes plays. And there's just something like very familiar about this. Of you, by the time you're getting into new comedy, you really are in the world of like archetypes of like the old curmudgeonly dad who doesn't want to marry off his daughter. They give him a name, right? They call him Naaman or Neiman, whatever. But that's an archetype, right? Like,
I've seen 1,000
Yes,
movies
yes.
where it's like some blue collar,
Yes.
grouchy dad, and
Yes.
he's got a hot daughter that he doesn't want, running around town.
the young man falling in love with the young woman,
Yep.
Them wanting to get married, even the plot of like the father not approving and doesn't want them to get married. But this is all very standard stuff that we're
Yeah.
working with here. And this is kind of that's like a general attribute for this new comedy, for these later comedies, that instead of getting this like, again, the biting satire we got from the old comedy, you get more into kind of the familiar. And you'll see people talk about this as an analog to a sitcom, right? Like I could imagine turning this on and watching this today, right?
They're not going to send this playwright. The Athenians aren't going to send them into exile
Yes.
because of this like biting satire.
Yeah.
This is,
And you get the sense that there are people who were like ready for this. Of like, it kind of got exhausting to go watch theater, and like every time it had to be, you're up to date on politics, all the names and references. Like, there's something easy, there's something like pleasant about
Like a National Lampoon's.
Yeah, right. It's not far off from what this is. So that's just to notice differences between these. So we skip over in the middle. We are introduced to a few additional characters, the most important of which will be so Naaman's daughter is not named; she's the girl, is what she'll be called throughout this. Naaman, we mentioned, had a son by his previous marriage, and his name is Gorgeous. So how do you like that? And he will show up. He will play a prominent role in this play. Many of the other parts that we just completely will skip over. There's this subplot I mentioned.
It's his stepson, right?
Stepson. Yeah, so son by his previous marriage, right? Isn't that?
The wife that...
Yeah.
Stepson. So he married a woman who already had a kid.
I think it's... So not stepson. I think it's his... Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah. She had the son. Yeah. Thank you. And in the middle, we're going to skip over, again, these subplots. There's this cook who can't find a cooking pot. Asks for one from Naaman. Naaman beats this person up with a cooking pot instead of giving it. Thank you. That's the right response. Thank you. Good. Maybe I'm skipping over the wrong parts. But didn't this happen in Cloud Cuckoo Land too, or in The Birds, where there was all the people who wanted to like grift the new city, and you played someone, AJ, who was like trying to be the oracle for the city or something like that. Anyway, I think he got beat up a lot too. But okay. So we meet some new characters, but it's mostly kind of side stories that are meant to be entertaining, but they don't really move along this main plot of Sostratos wanting to marry Naaman's daughter. I think there's this exchange between Sostratos and Gorgeous, where Sostratos is kind of he's a city boy. He doesn't work in the field. His hands are soft, all that. And Gorgeous tells him that like if you really want to impress Naaman, you need to go work. You need to be out in the field. You need to do something that is going to show him that you're tough. I think that'll play in with this next part here. Let's actually start at the beginning of Act 4. So this is page 27 of the play. It's page 15 of the PDF. And we will start there. Are y'all both there? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's line 620. Again, page 15 of the PDF. Let me know when y'all are there.
Page 15, was it page?
Yep, ready.
Page what?
Page 15 of the PDF, page 27 of the play. And?
Line 620?
Yeah, so right there at the beginning. So we have, what would you say, Simike? How would you say that for the?
I don't know.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
Smoochy?
You want to call her
Smeechy?
You want to call her Smoochy?
Simike.
Simike sounds good. Simike is Naaman's servant. There was a reference earlier to this old woman who answered the door when someone knocked on Naaman's door. That's Simike who was answering. So this is an older servant of Naaman's. And Simike will be talking with Sykon. Sykon is that cook who was looking for a pot that I mentioned before. So an old servant for a grumpy man.
I can be Simike.
Okay.
I'm a lady.
You are a lady, and Sykon, you're going to be a cook.
You got it.
AJ. Okay. So Simike runs out of Naaman's house shrieking.
Won't somebody help? Oh, misery. Help, help.
Sykon comes out of the shrine grumbling.
Oh, good Lord, by all the gods and spirits, please let us get on with making our libations. You wail, abuse us, beat us up, a most extraordinary house.
My master's down the well.
How's that?
How?
Just love that. Sorry.
He was climbing down to get the fork and bucket out when at the top he slipped, and so he's fallen in.
You mean that difficult old sod? Good Lord, he's done well. My dear old woman, it's up to you.
Well, what do you mean?
Why, get a mortar or a rock or some such thing and drop it on him from above.
Come on.
Dear friend, go down the well.
My goodness, to suffer what the man did in the story? To fight the dog in the well? No, thanks.
Where are you, Gorgeous?
Enter Gorgeous from the shrine. I guess that's... I'm here. What is the matter, Simike?
You asked me what? I'll tell you again, my master's in the well.
Here, Sostratos, come out. Lead on.
Enter Sostratos from the shrine.
Lead on and quickly go inside.
Exit Gorgeous, Sostratos, and Simike into Naaman's house. Sykon is left alone on the stage.
We don't need to do this part. So,
I mean, it seems kind of funny.
You want to? Go for it. Okay.
Yeah.
The gods exist by Dionysus. Yes. You don't give us a stewing pot when we are sacrificing. You're too mean for that, you wicked rogue. Then fall into the well and drink it dry so you can't give a drop to anyone. The nymphs have punished him for me, as he deserved. No one can wrong a cook and get away scot-free. That's great. Our art is somehow sacred. But waiters, you can treat just as you like.
Cries off stage.
We can stop there.
Okay. That's awesome. We should probably keep it going.
Keep going? Okay.
Yeah. Because this will resolve quickly. So Saikon cries off stage.
What? Surely he's not dead. Some girl is weeping and bewailing her beloved dad.
Lacuna of 4 lines. Oh, so this script will indicate where there's uncertainty of what the words are. So we can see that because we're reading it. So those things that are in italics, it's not for emphasis. It's because they filled in words. So you can keep going with that's no concern.
That's no concern of mine.
More cries off stage.
He must still be alive. Perhaps someone's gone right down the well to rescue him. They'll tie him to a piece of rope, and so they'll haul him up, that's obvious. Oh, what a sight. What do you think he'll look like then, soaked in the skin, to the skin and trembling? What a joke. I'd love to see him, friends, by God, I would.
He shouts to the women inside the shrine.
But women, pour libations for their sake and pray the old man's rescue may go wrong and leave him lame and crippled. For that way, he'll be a harmless neighbor to Pan here and to the folk who come to sacrifice. That's my concern, too, if I'm hired to cook.
Exits Icon into the shrine, enters Sostratos from Naaman's house and addresses the audience. Graeme, do you want to reprise?
Friends, by Demeter, by Asclepios, by all the gods, I never in my life have seen a man so nearly drowned, and so conveniently. What fun it is to watch. For Gorgias, the moment we went in, leapt down into the well. The girl and I on top did nothing. What were we to do? Except she tore her hair and wept and beat her breast like mad. And I, the fool I was, stood by her, like her nurse, and begged and praised her not to, gazing at that priceless work of art.
Everyone wants this man to die, right? It's just, yeah.
But I cared less than nothing for the casualty below, except I had to keep on pulling him. That really was a bore. And God, I nearly sent him to his death 3 times at least. As I was gazing at the girl, I let the rope go.
That's so good.
Gorgias, however, proved a true Atlas, held firm, and finally has hauled him up. When he emerged, I came out here because I could control myself no longer, but almost dashed up and kissed the girl. I am in love so desperately. I'm getting ready now. They're rattling at the door.
The door opens and Naaman is wheeled out on a couch by Gorgias and the girl.
God help me. What an extraordinary sight.
Let's see. I can do Gorgias, your Naaman, and then Sostratos?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Naaman, say if there's anything you want.
What should I say? I'm not too good.
Oh, do cheer up.
I have cheered up. For Naaman will now cease to give you trouble for all time to come.
This is the evil consequence, you know, of isolation. Do you see? Just now you were within a hair's breadth of your death. From now on, then, at your age, you must live with someone to look after you.
I know. I'm not so well. Call me your mother, Gorgias, and say it's urgent. Troubles alone, it seems, can teach us.
Exit Gorgias to his house to fetch his mother. Naaman appeals to his daughter.
Dear daughter, please hold me tight and help me up.
Sostratos, seeing the girl putting her arms around Naaman, is madly jealous and comes forward.
Oh, lucky man.
Why are you standing there beside me, you wretched man?
Sostratos retires to the back of the stage. Gorgias and his mother enter while Naaman stands to make his harangue, supported by his daughter. And then some of this is missing, is all that the next stage direction says.
Listen, all of you. Stand around me while I tell you what I want. In the past, I worked my heart out, and I liked to work alone. Neighbors seldom came to help me, so I managed by myself. Gradually, I came to realize I was better on my own. Loneliness became habitual. I would rather die than change. Death is welcome if you cannot live the way you want to do. Hear then what I have decided. Myrine and Gorgias, you perhaps may not approve of what I have chosen. All the same, none of you could ever make me change my mind. You must give way. One mistake perhaps I did make. Thought myself alone of all, self-sufficient, never needing anything from anyone. Now I see that death may strike one swift and unpredictable. And so I found how wrong I was then. Surely one must always have someone near to help him, but truly, I was quite unbalanced then. When I saw the two men's lives differed, profit was their only goal, I imagined no one ever would show kindness to another. This it was that caused my blindness. Now one man, and one alone, gorgeous, has proved my error, showing true nobility. I'm the man who never let him near my door, who never gave him any help at all, who never greeted, never spoke with courtesy. All the same, it's he has saved me. No, any other man quite fairly might have said, "You don't let me near, now I'll not come near you. You yourself have never helped us, now I'll give no help to you."
Gorgeous shows signs of wanting to intervene.
What's the matter, my boy? So whether I am now about to die, which I think is very likely, I seem ill, or survive, I adopt you as my son, boy. All I consider, yours. I entrust my daughter to you. You must find a husband for her. Even if my health were perfect, I'd not find one. None would ever satisfy me. As for Nemon, if I live, then let me live as I wish. All else take over, manage things yourself. You are sensible, thank God, and care for your own sister as you should. Split into two my possessions, give one half to her as a dowry, with the rest support your mother and myself. So much for that.
To his daughter.
Lie me down. I hold that no one should say more than he needs must. This, however, you must know, boy, certain things I wish to say of myself and my way of living. If all men behaved like me, law courts would exist no longer. Men would no more haul each other off to prison. War would cease then. All would live content with less. But perhaps you find more pleasure in your present ways. Good luck. This bad-tempered misanthrope will no longer be in your way.
And we're getting close on time, so that's kind of, there's another act after this, but that is the main part of it, that Naaman changes, right? He has this near-death experience. We say he's saved by Sostratus and Gorgias. He's really saved by Gorgias, right? Gorgias goes down the well.
Sostratus was like
drops the rope a couple times.
He's batting eyes at the girl that he's in love with. But Gorgias gets him back up, and Naaman just realizes that he's been a misanthrope all his life, and he changes his ways, and he gives his wealth away instead of hoarding it up, which is what he's done all of his life. And a part of that is it's like power of attorney, right? He gives Gorgias this ability to say what is done with the same authority Naaman would have, and that includes finding a wife for his daughter. Finding a husband for his daughter. And so, as you might imagine, the next part is then Sostratus.
So like cozying up to Gorgias. Hey, buddy, remember when we got your dad out of the well?
I was going to say it might have been more convenient for the three ghosts if they just hucked Ebenezer Scrooge down a well instead of
going through all the ghosts and everything.
Figure it out, guy.
Better,
this is essentially just the Christmas Carol with a well.
With a well instead of ghosts. Yeah. I mean, you're exactly right.
It's much more efficient.
Yeah. And so, what do we end with? We end with a wedding. We end with Sostratus getting with Naaman's daughter. Gorgias also ends up marrying the sister of Sostratus, who I think comes out of nowhere.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And there's this thing about finding a dowry for everyone, and everyone gets a dowry, and everyone gets married. We end with a double wedding, and Naaman has to be dragged to the wedding to dance. He's like pulled in and forced to dance at his daughter's wedding. And that's the end of it. I mean, that's like the feel-good story, right?
It ends with a wedding just like a comedy should.
Just like it should. It's like, that's the Shakespeare thing, right? That they all end in
all comedies end with weddings.
Yeah. So what do you think? A couple minutes left here. Like,
what was that line that he said? It's about if everyone lived like me, we would have no war.
Yeah, because nobody's messing with everyone. Everyone would be content with less. We'd never have wars. Nobody would haul each other. We'd need to have no need for courts.
Yeah,
I love that line.
Because that's how you feel.
Yeah.
If more people were like me.
Yeah. If everyone, what was it? If anyone spoke, I can't find it now. But
it's around 740, a little after that.
But if everybody, here it is.
If everyone was completely self-sufficient, we'd have no other need. But the problem is he really likes his land and doesn't like people on it. And so if there's ever confusion about land, well...
there'd be a problem.
Yeah,
but if you avoid people, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
If all men behaved like me, log courts would exist no longer. Men would no more haul each other off to prison. War would cease then. All would live content with less. I think the Grouchies are onto something.
You're onto something. Good.
You ever read a book called The Great Divorce there, Donaldson? You ever wiggled near that one?
Yeah, fair point. Actually, it's literally open on my nightstand right now.
So in The Great Divorce, in hell, everyone hates everyone else, so they keep on moving further and further and further out, and so it's this giant sprawling city. And because you don't actually have to get any resources, you can just create stuff with your mind. Nobody has to live near each other. So I think this is what Naaman is finding out. Like, in theory, yeah, it's great to not have to mess with your neighbors, but then you fall down a well.
Yeah.
And then you need neighbors.
In reality,
right?
you need people.
But that's because what he was operating from, this is his line earlier. I was quite imbalanced then when I saw, though men's lives differed, profit was their only goal. I imagined no one ever would show kindness to another. This it was that caused my blindness. So there's something early on, and we don't have to psychologize it, but like,
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Let's
We're
do it.
podcast.
Okay.
What are you talking
That's
about?
what this whole thing is about.
Cool. But that is Naaman's problem, is he thinks that like no one will ever do a good thing for another. And Gorgeous literally risks his life for Naaman, right? Like, and there's no, Gorgeous is not promised anything for that. He just risks his life to save his stepfather. Is that what we said before? And that's what like breaks through. It's this like great act that shows Naaman his like core assumption that led to his grumpiness was entirely wrong, and then it changes his life. So
I still love the part where the cook's like, "It's up to you now. You can throw the rock down and finish him off."
Yeah.
pretty good. The whole thing is great. So it's a lot of fun, and that's and again, there's another play, and we should check it out and see if it's worth reading as well.
Fun.
But they're entertaining. They're a little less.
Biting or a little less like
There's less to them.
Yeah.
Like they're entertaining, but I just find it charming that a part of the canon is just a good rom-com. Like a part of the canon is just a sitcom. It's like an early Seinfeld, right? Like nothing really happens.
It's a show about
This is a
nothing.
play about nothing, and it's still super entertaining. There's comedic parts to it, and like this is one of the few Greek comedies that come to us this many years later. So
It's funny that you mentioned Seinfeld because Naaman is awful close to Newman.
oh, there we go.
Newman.
Nemo.
That's all I got. It's a fun play. Check it out.
Awesome.
Menander, Dyskolos. It's about grouches who fall down wells and then are no longer grouches.
All right.
So there you
Yeah,
go.
Well,
that's great.
This has been Classical Stuff You Should Know with Thomas, AJ, and Graham. 3 non-grouchy guys. If you want to talk to us, good luck.
Tough. I mean, yeah.
You can email us at theguys@classicalstuff.net. If you want, we have a Patreon where we do in-between episodes, where we do monthly AMAs, where we have like a chat thing that we talk about.
And this summer, Donaldson and I are going on a big journey through the Cotswolds, and we're recording a bunch of episodes.
Yep.
So those will be up on our Patreon for our
We'll
paying
have
subscribers.
some summer content, or maybe the content will come up sort of later in the summer when we're back. We're going to be videoing us doing things, and you can follow us on Twitter at Classical Stuff. I can't remember what it is. No one follows
stuff.
us on Twitter. That's not true. CLSSCAL Stuff, and where we occasionally tweet. And yeah, our website is classicalstuff.net. And
Did you say Patreon?
I did say
Okay,
Patreon.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Did the email.
So thanks for listening, and
Keep it real.
yeah,
Don't be a grouch.
stay away from wells.
Bye.
Bye.